It's not my vibe and I don't understand it. I like memes, and it's not something I want to do a lot on this channel, but I feel like it deserved some book memes. Hey, it's Jamie, thanks for stopping by, and today we're going to be looking at some book memes and see if we relate to them. That's literally it. That is the intro. Walking past bookstores like me being held back. Gale? It's Peter and Gale, right, in the Hunger Games.
What?
I'm Gale held back by peacekeepers. Do not let me go in and spend my money. Actually, this does need to happen sometimes. But I'm very consciously aware that if you're out and about and you pass a good bookshop, if you are with friends who are not interested in books, it's a big sacrifice for them to go in a bookshop with me. If I'm with people who very much enable me going in bookstores, I do then need to be held back from purchasing the books. So maybe it needs to begin a step sooner and I just don't go in the bookshop. But that would be sad.
Don't think like that, dude!
Raise your hand if you've ever fallen in love with a fictional character. Personally, I don't think I have. No. Typically, not the kind of books I ever read. I feel like it would be mostly romance books where you might fall in love with a character, but I don't really read those types of books. Like, I'm not gonna be falling in love with anybody in this type of book.
Nasty.
Reading spoilers, like, my eyes! Oh no, what have I just seen? I saw a video where someone was like, oh, when you're reading a really good, I literally opened it, whether it's blank. When you're reading a really good book and you have to do this and cover the page because your eyes keep skimming, I do that. I spoil it for myself by reading ahead. I like to know what I'm getting myself in for in terms of length with a book. So before I start, I'll flip to the back and see how many pages there are. And it's not happened very recently, but there have been times in the past where I have accidentally gotten a spoiler right at the end. I still do it though. I still go back and I look at the number of pages, even though I know I'm signing myself up for like a 5% chance that I will spoil the entire plot for myself. It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I actually actively avoid reading reviews really before I read a book. I look at the average rating on an app, like if it's like 4.09 out of 5 stars, right, and it sounds right up my street, I'm probably gonna give it a go. But if it's like borderline and it sounds decent, but I'm not absolutely like, oh my god, I have to read this book, and it's only got like 3 stars out of 5, I might give it a miss. So I typically go on the average rating and then my opinion on the summary of the book, bit of fluff, rather than reading actual reviews, because not everybody tags them as having spoilers. Knowing what happens in the book someone's reading, I know that you are about to be heartbroken, devastated. Your world will never be the same. Every time I read a book, I tell my wife Shabra about it and I give her like a little summary, and then if she likes the sound of it, I might give her a bit of a larger summary, and we'll have a longer chat about it. And then if she really likes the sound of it, she'll read it as well. And I love it when that happens. And then she's reading the book and she's like, oh my god, I just got to the bit where this happens, and I'm like, oh, just you wait. When someone keeps talking to you while you're trying to read, if I'm like, hello, I'm reading a book, I have not been able to read a full sentence without you interrupting me for the past 5 minutes. What is going on here? This is sacred time. When authors kill your favorite character, what did I ever do to you? What's worse, kind of, is when you know somebody's gonna die. I read a book recently, and I won't say which book because I don't want to give away the spoilers. I read a book where kind of the premise of it is that the main character is gonna die, but there's always a bit of you that thinks maybe they won't. By some miracle they will survive, and then they die anyway, and it's devastating, and you're like, why? How could you do this to me? This is a personal attack. When I talk about any book or show, the little bit is actually explaining the plot, and the red bit yelling about random scenes and characters I love. I see where this is coming from. It's just not very me. I explain the summary, like the spoiler-free summary of the plot, depending on who I'm talking to. Or if somebody's already read it, we'll have a big chat about the plot. And then if they don't mind spoilers, I'll do like the medium level chat. I'm more likely to either rant about bits that I really didn't enjoy or that were bad, or get really passionate about when a plot twist gets me. That's my favorite thing. If there's like if there's a good twist and it gets me, I love going and talking to people who've either read the book or don't mind me spoiling it for them. That's what I get passionate about, less so the people. Oh, I guess that does count, because yelling about random scenes that I love, yeah. If there's a good plot twist, I will want to go tell everybody how good it got me. When you're halfway through a book and come to a plot twist at 1 a.m, I don't need sleep, I need answers. Oh, this is so true. I have to say, since I've gotten back into reading, the amount of accidental late nights I've had has definitely increased. And it is directly correlated with the words, just one more chapter. Because it is never just one more chapter. And then you think if you read one more chapter, you'll get to a nice little conclusion that's wrapped up all neatly, but you don't. the plot just thickens and it gets worse, and then you've got to stay reading it. Oh, me talking to the invisible audience about what's going on in my book. This is why I started this channel. I like talking about books. I like talking about books that I enjoy. I like ranting about books that are awful, although I do prefer talking about ones I enjoy. And that is why I absolutely love this channel and why I'm so grateful for this space. POV, you figured out the entire plot of the book and it's only the first chapter. Who does it? What kind of skills do you have?
Are a very particular set of skills.
Are you Sherlock Holmes? I have never done this, ever. I've figured out bits and pieces. I've guessed at some point the direction it might go in, but I've never read the first chapter and gone, I know what's gonna happen. I never figure this shit out, except for with The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I did figure that shit out, but it was in like the chapter just before it was told. I still count that as a win, but it was not in the first chapter. If you are doing this, I don't know why I'm showing you my phone, I'm gonna have the picture on the screen, but if you are doing this, I'm impressed. When you get to an exciting part of your book, but people keep interrupting you, I feel like somebody sat reading a book sends out the same signals as when you wear headphones at the gym. Most people are listening to music at the gym. They got some kind of headphone in. To me, that is like, do not disturb unless you absolutely have to. I'm not here to have a conversation with you. Not that I would have a conversation with strangers, regardless of whether they were listening to music or not. A book is the same thing. If somebody is sat reading a book, that sends out a signal of, I am not in this world right now. I am not in the room with you. Do not disturb. When I accidentally drop my book, it's okay. You're okay. Oh, I feel so bad. I was actually in a bookshop and they put too many books on the table. I will not take full responsibility, but I do take partial responsibility with being slightly clumsy. The books were genuinely like, this was a table and the books were like overhanging, like they were cliff hanging on the table, and I nudged them ever so slightly and a couple fell. They did not get damaged, I checked, but I felt so guilty. These weren't even my books and I knocked them on the floor. How dare. But I've seen people who like online will like throw their books behind them after they reviewed them. I can't do that. Finishing a book at 3 a.m. I wish I could say I regret it, but I don't. I wish I could say I'll do better next time, but I won't. I will be very happy that I've finished the book and I will be excited about it. I take a photo of every book once I've finished it. I don't know why, I just started doing it last year. And I have noticed a pattern of like 80% of the books I read, I finish them in bed at some point between just gone midnight to 2 to 3 in the morning. So that's definitely a pattern that is not going to break anytime soon. How I feel when I enter a bookstore, here I stand and here I'll stay. Yeah. I could spend all day in a bookstore. It's very dangerous for me to go on my own though, because then there's nobody giving me advice that I could be getting carried away. I am all for if something makes you happy and it's not hurting other people. So if you want to go and buy a book, even though you've still got 30 unread books on your shelf, if you want to go get another book, go get another book. Book buying bans are not my vibe. However, I also don't want to end up with hundreds of unread books. For me, that is a bit too much. I will get books and I will read them and I get a lot of like paperbacks, and then once I'm done with them I will pass them on, either sell them or I will charity or do like a little book swap thing or whatever. And I actually want to start going to the library. I've been thinking about it and I think it'd be a really good idea. So I believe in balance. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe in balance. I believe that if I don't go to a bookshop too frequently, I can always allow myself to get a new book when I go in. But if I started going to a bookshop every week, that would not be a good idea. And if I went to a bookshop on my own, that would not be a good idea. When you finally emerge after reading for hours, what year is it?
What year is it?
I genuinely think this is one of the main reasons why I love reading. It is the one thing where I feel like I can fully get stuck into and just sit and do the same thing for hours. I really struggle to sit and do a task for a long time. So if I have like a job to do, I will need to take like breaks. I'll need to do like a little something else for a couple minutes and then go back to it, because I feel my brain wandering, and books are the only thing where that doesn't happen. The book, oh, big roller coaster. The movie, wee. Yes, a lot of the time, yes. I think there are some exceptions to this rule. It's so obvious that typically a book will have so much more to it. You can fit so much more in like a 300-400 page book than you can fit in a 90-minute movie, because very rarely in a film as well will it be like narrated from an inner monologue perspective, but you get that kind of vibe quite a lot in a book. I find it so much easier to understand how a narrator or like various characters are feeling and explanations for their behavior from a book than I do in a movie. Sometimes I'm very confused in a film and I'm like, why did that happen? When you have to read the same page over and over because you keep zoning out. This happens if people talk to me when I'm reading. You said no more books. I said no More books. That is correct. The apostrophe is very important, and it is correct to have an apostrophe after the no in that sentence. More books. Always. POV, I walk past a bookstore and the books are scared. Me staring at the wall after a book crushed my soul. Okay, there were 2 books that have done that to me this year, and they are... Wait, this isn't this year. This was last year. Tender is the Flesh. Not my fave book, but the ending, I needed to sit and think about that one for a minute. That had me flabbergasted. I was like, oh my god, did that really just happen? Yes, it did. And the second one is What We Did to Survive by Megan Lally. It's the newest one that just came out this year. I thought the twist wasn't coming at one point. It still smells like lollipop sticks. And then it did. And that had me sat for a minute. I was actually like, oh my god, I need to go tell somebody about this. That was a lot. In Japanese, sundoku means collecting books and letting them pile up. Not from neglect, but for the joy of knowing they're there, full of untold stories. Babe, it's not clutter, it's the Japanese practice of sundoku. I have heard so many people say that there are 2 categories, that some people can be both and some people are one or other. There is a hobby and a passion in reading books and a hobby and a passion in collecting books. There is often an overlap, and I think you're more likely to find people who have a passion over reading books than collecting books, but then not wanting to read them. I will say, I do find the concept of collecting a large amount of books with no intention of ever reading them slightly bizarre. I'm trying not to judge, but it just feels like a bit of a waste to have all of those beautiful stories. And I get it, like the beauty of like untold stories just sat there, which I think works if there is an intention at some point to read them. But if there is the intention to just keep adding to that collection and never reading them, that's when I'm like, it's not my vibe and I don't understand it. For me, I'm definitely a both. I love getting books. I love collecting them. I like getting special editions of books. I like pretty books. I just love books. But I also, as equally much, love reading them. I will collect them and have a little pile of all the unread stories, and then they will be read. When I hear someone say they're going to the bookstore, I'm coming. Yes. If somebody said, I want to go to the bookshop, I am not letting that opportunity pass me by. I am going with them. When someone takes the last book at the bookstore, them, I would not have the balls to do this. If you get there first, then you have got the last book in the bookshop fair and square. What does frustrate me more, if I see somebody else take it, it's okay. What I get annoyed about is if the last copy is damaged. 1, not only do I not want to buy a new book that comes pre-damaged, 2, I don't personally like having damaged books, because if I have a book from new, I will look after it. It will look unread, and that is just my personal taste, and I don't judge you if you're different to that. So if I go into the bookshop and it's like got a crack or like a big tear on it, or some pages are folded back in on themselves, or it's like dented and bashed, I won't want to buy it. That frustrates me more when I can literally see a copy. There was a special edition of a book that Sharpa and I wanted to buy, and we checked online to see where it was in stock. We happened to be like passing through somewhere where it was in stock there, so we detoured to go pick it up, and it was the only copy, and it wasn't just a little bit damaged. It's like the entire dust cover had little nicks in it all the way around, and then a couple bigger bits, but then when you opened it, it was like, hold on, let me show you on a different book. It was like this bit here of the actual hardcover had been like folded over here and then put back, like it was a bit wobbly and had a crack here and a crack there.
Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack.
I just couldn't buy it. And it also looked faded. It looked like somebody had left it out in the sun. Just say you don't have one in stock, because that's rude. This book should go in like a little bargain bucket of discounted books because they're damaged, because I'm sure so many people would not mind, but also would not want to pay full price for a book in that condition. That is what is frustrating. Reading a good novel will be like, why? Oh, that's why. But sometimes there's never the that's why, and that's when a good book can just turn into frustration. After reading a book that ended with a cliffhanger, I'm okay. No, I'm not. I don't remember the last book I read that ended with a cliffhanger. There's been a few recently that have ended kind of ambiguously, but not a cliffhanger. I think there's a difference between things being left to interpretation. Yes, they sailed off into the sunset and lived happily ever after, or no, they got caught in the next storm. I don't know. And then it actually being left on. And then the next storm hit them. Done. What do you mean done? Did I finish the book? Or did the book finish me? Well, I tell you, recently, I did not finish this book, but it nearly finished me. Oh my God, it was awful to me. Personal opinion. My daughter has started a story, and Rebecca no longer has the greatest opening lines in literature. I was at Rebecca's last night. I dreamed of Manderley again. The chattering souls. As the day becomes night, the ghosts start to stir. Some literally start to stir, because they are chef ghosts. That is very cute. I wrote a book about my guinea pig when I was a kid, and my mum illustrated it for me, and I think I still have it somewhere. What I definitely have is I wrote these like short ghosty horror stories when I was a kid, and I printed them off and like I stuck all the pages together, and then I made a little cover. So I put like cardboard around it, and then I covered the cardboard in like wrapping paper, how you do for like school workbooks, and then I printed out like a little sheet and stuck it on the front. I don't think I wrote anything as good as that though. I think they were all pretty terrible, but I did used to write stories constantly as a child. I would read constantly. I would write little stories all the time. I need to get back to that childhood. I'm back into the reading. I need to get back into the writing. I've started, but I really would love to write more. Yeah, that would be a dream. And that is it for all the book memes. As I said, I don't want this to become like a regular thing on the channel. I look at a lot of memes on my other channel. I just thought it would be fun to dip into this very rarely, every so often. If you did like it, think about giving a thumbs up and subscribing, but no pressure. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter. Much love. Bye.